So this is the ECOVAC DEEBOT T30s AI, and ECOVAC has not only updated the AI detection system on the Robovac itself, they've made a lot of improvements inside of the clean station. But the secret is for the ECOVAC DEEBOT T30s AI is going to be value, because they're giving you a lot for your money. They're giving you the hot water mopping, they're giving you the hot air drying, they're giving you a 2-tank system, and the ECOVAC is coming with LiDAR as well as a front-facing camera. So it's going to be able to map out your home quickly, but at the same time, it's going to be able to identify what's in front of it and have less likelihood of getting stuck. The key features with your DEEBOT here is that it has the True Edge technology for the mopping. So now your mop pads are going to be able to be extended outward, so you can get closer to baseboards as well as go into corners and crevices much better than before. Another key feature is that they come with now with a Tangle-free brush roll, and that seems to be something that a lot of the manufacturers are focusing on. They want to make sure that you can mop closer to your walls. They want to make sure that all the edges are going to be properly picked up and cleaned. And they want to make sure that your brush roll is not getting tangled, because this is probably the most likely cause that you're having to open and manually clean out the brush roll regularly.
So the key features for your ECOVAC is that it has AI instant remop. So that's going to make sure that persistent stains are swiftly addressed without repeated mopping, without hesitation. So what that does is that if you have the AI instant remop activated, it's going to go back and do the stain up to 3 times.
What ECOVAC did decide is to make sure all of their little points of contact are going to be in the blue colorway. So now if you want to open, you have these blue tabs. Your 3-sided brush roll, this is a pretty standard side brush. This is also going to have a blue button on top. And if you pop out the mop pads, these are using magnets now so that they're much easier to remove. And if you just want to wash your mop pads, you can just take these off. They're attached by Velcro, and then you just leave this on. One important note is that if you're running this mainly on carpet or rugs and you don't want it to use those mop pads, you will have to manually remove them. Your clean station cannot manually remove the mop pads on its own.
So what we want to know is the ECOVAC T30s going to be able to handle multiple different types of floors? Is it going to be able to pick up stains? Is it going to be to wash stains? How good is the navigation? How easy and how well or how quickly does it map? And is it a good overall robo vacuum for you and your home? So let's try it, let's see, and let's test it out. One key feature of your DEEBOT T30s is a new feature called True Mapping 2.0. So it's kind of like the algorithmic pathing pattern, but it's going to be related to how the sensors work. So because it uses the LiDAR, because it uses that front-facing camera detection system, it's going to be able to map out your home a lot faster than systems that are just using bottom sensors or things like the iRobot, which doesn't come with LiDAR. That also matters because the True Mapping 2.0 allows it to perform better in terms of the algo pathing for your home. So first it's going to focus on your corners, and then it's going to be going in orderly rows. But when it hits a stain or some type of obstacle that it can't get around, instead of trying to just push it through or do something funky, what you'll find is that your DEEBOT is going to be able to work around it and problem solve on its own. And that's a testament to the AI. If you're trying to figure out how much space you have underneath the mop pads, you're about 1/3 of an inch. That is about the same as you would get on the Dream as well as the Roborocs here.
So if you're looking at the Dustbin is not huge. This is going to look like about 250, 300 milliliter in terms of size, but it does come with a wide mouth. And if this is ever full, your unit will automatically go back to its base and then recharge or empty its dustbin on its own. There is going to be one button that you have for the Wi-Fi, but automatically the controls are going to be these physical buttons here on top, one for power, one for home, as well as one for task. So if you want to reinstall this, you just place it back on. Now, one knock on the cover here is that the cover is quite easy to pop on and off. I think they did that on purpose, but at the same time, I wish there was a little bit of a lock here so it wouldn't just rub off or pop off as easily.
So we're going to test out the ECOVAC with some coffee, and as you can see, some of this coffee is dry, some of it is wet, but it is definitely one of the stains that we want to see. Can our robo vacuum clean this up? And we see can it pick out these chia seeds in our tests. So first it's going to make a perimeter around the area. As always, it always tries to do the borders first. We have it on a mop and vacuum mode, and part of the floor is elevated. So you can see the mop pads are also going to be lifted depending on where the wheels and the vacuum part is. It's very important to note that because you're using rotating mop pads, and if you're using this on heavy set stains or dry stains like you see me doing with the coffee, make sure to change the frequency where you want your mop pads to be cleaned by the self auto washing station. So you want it about 10 minutes, and if you try to compare it in relative to terms of how well does it pick up the quinoa, it does do a very good job picking up the quinoa, but the mop pads are that secret sauce here because it's going to be catching a lot of those fine particles, and then it's going to be picking them up because you want to set this on a minimum of max or turbo for the suction settings. The pathing system for your ECOVAC is going to be very good because it's really similar to a non-AI model. The AI part of this is really adding another layer of obstacle detection, but because the pathing from the DEEBOT was already fine-tuned so that it can go in orderly rows, it's going to mop in a certain order, it's going to vacuum around the borders first. They really figured it out. Now, if you can see here, my unit is jumping between the hard floors, and once it touches the hard floors, it's going to activate the mop pads, and then once it jumps off the hard floors and onto the rug, it's going to deactivate the mop pads. And this is just me illustrating the convenience as well as the intelligence of the machine, where it's going to be mopping and vacuuming at the same time unless you wanted to vacuum and mop at separate times. And if you're trying to figure out, does the hot water mop cleaning work? Yes, because here we have these pads that were just cleaning coffee as well as the quinoa. After one single session of the hot water mopping wash session, it was able to fully clean those pads of all the coffee, and the coffee water is now in the dirt. Another test that we like to run is a lentil test on our light pill rug here. Now, the DEEBOT did make quick work of it, especially if you have your unit on a higher suction level or you have it at 2x. And especially for these fine particles, you might want to do it on 2x, but if you have it on intelligence mode, it's going to be able to detect a lot of these different size particles, especially the lentil, and it's going to run the session automatically on its own until it picks everything up. And I found that very interesting. Intelligence mode, you can't really set it for rooms or zones, but it will do a good job recognizing what's on the floor and then going over it repeatedly to make sure it's clean afterwards. We opted to do a 2x session, so that means it's going to be doing tighter rows as well as a tighter grid. So not only is it going to go up and down vertically, but then it's going to switch to horizontal rows. So you're going to have a cross section of that entire area to make sure that you don't miss any spots. It does add a considerable amount of time to the overall cleanup and the operation of your ECOVAC, but that's why it comes with a longer battery life at lasting up to close to 3 hours. Then you have to consider it puts 11,000 Pascal of suction if you have it at the max setting. So then if you put it all together, you can have a very capable Robovac when you need it, if you want it, but just maybe not for the full 2-3 hour runtime that you might really need. We also did some tests with kitchen tile. This is going to be on sticky flour test. So we let wet flour dry on our floors, and we wanted to see, can the Robovac pick it up? Because we're not trying to do tests where it's so simple and easy for these things to pick it up, like marker or anything. We wanted to make sure that it's fully ingrained. So in order for our ECOVAC to make quick work of this, it actually had to run a 2x session, and we had to run it twice. And that's, remember, that is on sticky, dried on, caked on flour. So if you put it in that perspective, your DEEBOT is going to be able to remove majority of your stains for your kitchen floors pretty easily, because it can remove stuff that you basically have to scrape off with your fingernails, and no mop or Swiffer is going to be able to get it off. And even though you might think that all of these rotating mop pad Robovacuums are going to have the same performance for mopping, it's definitely not the case. For one, it also matters how your machine is going to find the stain, recognize the stain, and what type of pattern it's going to go over it. But the DEEBOT puts a lot of pressure on the floor as well, because it tries to push down on those mop pads. So then you're going to get better cleanup. And then when you have this type of full tight grid that it creates, you're going to see that even on this sticky flour, it was able to remove it. And the only place it couldn't remove it was actually inside of the grout. We also tried this test with clumped up pet hair because we wanted to see, is the unit tangle-free brush roll going to be able to pick everything up and do this anti-tangle combs work as well. Now to show you what happens after we had emptied it out, first I'm going to show you the waste bin or the dustbin inside. You can see that all of the cat hair is safely inside of here. Now I'm going to flip this around to show you the brush roll. Open this up, pop this out, and you can also see there's no cat hair inside because the little comb areas are able to remove the hair from the tangle-free brush. What is important is that if you're using your DEEBOT T30s for areas that have a lot of long-haired dogs or human hair, what you're going to want to do is keep the suction power level on high. Because if you have it on high, it's not only going to be able to extract whatever hair is on the floor better, but it's also going to be able to extract and remove the hair from the brush roll, because the suction power is generated in higher force here, and that's going to go directly inside of this dustbin afterwards. Next, let's look at the ECOVAC OMNI station here. So this is that all-in-one station. Your unit, just like a water cooler or a coffee machine, is able to make the water hot instantaneously using electricity. And then that's going to be pumping out that 158-degree water that cleans your mop pads. It also makes sure that the mop pads are going to dry faster because they're coming from a warmer state. Just press that here, and that's going to give you a 3-liter dustbin. We have operated our unit about 2 weeks in a row, multiple times, and you can see how full our bag is. So it does a good job extracting everything, and that's where everything's going to be coming out of. There's also a vent port on the back. So this is not going to be like a pull system. This is more like a drawer. So you have an area here. Don't press down too hard, but it will just clip right back into place. Now, just for convenience sake, what we're going to do is show you the self-cleaning mode. So what I'm going to do is just long press right here. We're going to long press it. 1, 2, 3. Now we are in a self-clean mode. You can see the hot water is cleaning the area there on its own, and you can see the water is being pumped out through the little holes in terms of the plastic tray on top. Seeing if the water is being extracted out here. That's the self-cleaning here. Pop this out. And you can see the water is coming out and draining out of the tank. Your DEEBOT is also very good at finding its own base, so it goes right inside right afterwards.
Start charging.
See and you can see that it will empty out the trash bin twice, and then it's going to clean the mop pads directly after. If you don't use the mopping function here, I do recommend putting your unit on vac only. Otherwise, you'll constantly have it trying to clean its mop pads after 10, 15, 25 minutes, depending on the setting you have. Or it's going to clean it after every single time you send it out, those mop pads. And that's going to use water, as well as it's going to make more work for you in the future. So this is going to be the dirty water tank. I just want to show you after running it just 2 times on our main floor. This is how dirty the water is. You'll see how dirty the water is here. So definitely dirty water. So with your ECOVAC, you have the option to use it like your Alexa. All you have to say is "Okay, Eco," and then it's going to be listening to you and fulfilling your command. You can give it a command. It's very similar to your Alexa, and it has different voice commands. They give you a list of all your voice commands right here. So in your DEEBOT T30s AI map, this is going to be the interface for the menu. You have your clean settings on the bottom. You have auto, rooms, zone, and scenarios. And you have to map out your home first. You also have capabilities of adjusting the clean station itself. So it has the water tank level, the dirty tank level. You can empty the dustbin, wash the mop, as well as dry the mop. You have wash mopping pads with hot water. You have that enabled, or you could do it with a deep wash. And the OMNI can clean itself. It has the station self-clean mode. So that means during station self-cleaning, water will be automatically released into the mop washing tray, and that's going to clean the tray for you. And then the debris inside of that tray is going to get sucked out, and then that's going to go into the dirty water tank. You have the auto clean. In auto clean, you have the cleaning mode, so you can adjust the modes between mop after vac, vac and mop, mop only, as well as vac only. If you have it on mop, you can set the water levels. So I generally like to always set mine on low. I never find that I need more water, but that's going to be up to you. You have the option to do cleaning passes. So if you do a cleaning pass run, if you have more cleaning passes, it makes a tighter grid. So instead of doing orderly rows in one way, they also add columns. You have the ability to adjust the suction power. So you have quiet mode, you have standard, strong, and you have max suction. You have cleaning speed, you have standard, deep cleaning, and you have quick cleaning, so depending on how much time you want to spend cleaning. And you have it on AI, so AI means it has intelligent hosting. So cleaning mode, it tells you generate cleaning settings according to your cleaning habits, cleaning histories, floor materials, room types, and dirtiness of the floor. The Deebot can automatically identify soiled areas and adjust the cleaning parameters accordingly. And that's because it has those AI sensors in the front and those AI cameras. So if it detects a stain, it's going to go over it 3 times to make sure that it's going to be completely removed. If you just want to go into your settings is going to give you a log of your cleaning, basically your history. You have a schedule clean. You can schedule different. Inside the app, you have the ability to adjust the mopping pad auto lift. So you can decide how much you want the pads to lift or when you want them to lift. So you have your intelligence settings that determines your mop washing frequency and drying durations. So you have mop auto wash frequency. You can do it every 15 minutes, 25 minutes, 10 minutes. You can also do it by room. I generally like to keep mine by time, and you can do 15 minutes, but it's going to be going back a lot if you do it in that mode. So I generally like to keep mine at 25. It depends on how dirty your home is. Just as a Swiffer, 25 might be better. If you have some deep cleaning, 10 to 15 minutes is better. Hot air drying duration, I've never really needed it past 2 hours because it dries pretty quickly, especially because it uses hot water. But you can, if you wanted to make it fully dry, 3 to 4 hours. You have your auto empty, and that means your robot will automatically empty the dustbin during the cleaning, and that's when it's full. So you have auto as well as extra. You have intelligent deep mopping. So when activated, Deebot will automatically perform a second cleaning if it detects dirty areas. So you can go 2 to 3x depending on how dirty that area is. It also comes with the True Edge Adaptive Edge Mopping. So you have it with the extreme mode, so it's going to be constant contact with your floorboards as well as the sides of the room. Or you have on standard mode where it tries to keep an appropriate distance, but also makes it less prone to bumping into things. Then you have even more settings. So you have a do not disturb setting, you have a child lock, you have auto resume. You can deactivate or activate the AI VI 3D 2.0, which automatically identifies and avoids obstacles. You have a foot touch control, and that means when the Deebot is on standby or pause for cleaning, lightly touches bumper for 0.3 to 1 second to start or continue the cleaning task.
Now let's just talk about the biggest weakness for your Deebot T30s AI. It's actually going to be cords, because even though it has a camera up front, it doesn't do a good job avoiding cords, and a lot of times it's going to get tangled. So I just want to call that out. Not a lot of these RoboVacuums can handle any of these cords yet, but I wish this one handled it a little bit better.
So the ECOVAC T30s AI is really ECOVAC's best RoboVacuum that they've ever put out. Why? Because even though it has features that you might find on other RoboVacuums from ECOVAC and Deebot, what it does do well is that it combines those features into one solid offering, into one package that works reliably on your floors. And that's the most important feature. For me, it's like, how reliable is it to perform the task every single time you ask it? And in our testing of the Deebot, we haven't had failed sessions. We've tried it on things like stains, carpets, and it's been able to perform well on a majority of our tests. We didn't see any drawbacks in terms of, well, is it going to get tangled? Is it going to eat the cords? Is it going to be able to avoid dog poop? Yeah, this might not be the best for avoiding dog poop, but a lot of us, we're not going to be leaving dog poop on the floor. And this will outperform a Shark AI vac mop, as well as, like a Q5 Roborock, specifically because it comes with the spinning brushes, so not the sonic brushes, easier to clean as well as easier to maintain. Your self-clean station is a huge improvement over the self-clean stations you're finding on units that do not come with hot air drying as well as hot air mopping. Because those features, what they do is just, they really make it easier that you don't have to self-clean and manually commit to maintaining your device as frequently. So if you send this out and you're cleaning cola or you're cleaning food on the floor, by having the hot water mopping as well as the hot air drying, and then you can run it twice or 3 times if you want inside the app, that means your mop pads are going to be way cleaner than if you just have it on a Shark or a comparable unit that just kind of has a regular cold water washing and no hot air drying functions. And it specifically reduces the chance of odors because you're washing your pads better. The only drawback to this is that I wish you had some automatic detergent dispenser so that when you clean the pads, it's going to be able to know, hey, I want to use soapy water in order to clean these pads better than just using it with plain water or tap water. So with that, that's our review of the ECOVAC DEEBOT T30s AI. We think this is a solid offering. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment box below, and please hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help support our channel. And I'll catch you next time. This is Dave with the French Close signing off. Bye, bye, bye.